What's up YouTube, Day here for Zephyr Games, bringing you a meta game breakdown. So, it was recently revealed, or it's assumed, that we're not going to get a ban list until the end of June. In the sense is that on the ban list, the one update on the official Konami website was that the ban list would stay into effect for all North America regionals and events, which that entails means they don't actually finish until June-ish, I believe. Meaning that there won't be an imminent ban list anytime soon. So in that case, what I thought would be good is to give you a rundown of my personal top 5 meta decks. Now these are the decks that I feel between now and June, not including Brandish, because I think Brandish, I'm going to say that now, when Brandish come out, they will be the new zoo. They will be just as powerful. I'm going to be telling you what we've gotten here and now, and Brandish will be going in at number 1, and I'll show you what would take out for the Brandish. But for now, I'm going to take you through my top 5 meta cards or meta decks that will actually change the game. Now, at number 5, right now we've got Goukis. So right here, right now, we have Goukis. Now, the reason this is at number 5 is because it's only done well at one major event right now, which is still good enough, which is why it comes in at number 5. The reason it's not any higher is because it needs a bit more time to cement itself. Obviously, if a ban list had happened, or if a ban list does happen, then Goukis might move further up the chain because of it might hurt the other decks. But as it stands right now, I believe Goukis definitely deserve to be in the top 5. They've done well so far. We've only had one event with the new support, which is why, or with the nightmares, that I can't justify putting it higher as of yet. The exact same reason goes for the Altergeist. Now, the Altergeist and Goukis can share this 5th spot or swap around to 5 to 4. It's really dependent on what you think. I feel Altergeist just about beat Goukis, which is why I've put them at 4. Now, the reason Altergeist are in here is because they are incredibly powerful. We are going back to more, well, we're not going back to it per se, but this deck is bringing traps, a heavier trap lineup back into the limelight. And all because of the release of one card in Multi-Faker. Now, the deck can perform very, very well, which is why it was such a threat at most recent events. The biggest issue for them is, one of the other top decks in this top 5, they struggle to out. They really can struggle to deal with Dracos, especially if a masterpiece is immune by monsters and traps. But of course, that's where the side deck comes in. Now, Altergeist themselves are, of course, very, very powerful in the sense that they can flood the board. Multi-Faker comes off after the resolution of a trap. Their trap cards are there to negate monster effects. They've got a link monster that can negate spell effects. They've got cards that recycle and search in the graveyard. They've got cards that special summon during your opponent's turn. They've got cards that bounce during your opponent's turn in a Kieran effect. They do have a lot in their toolbox, which is why they're a little bit further up the list than Goukis. But again, the two of these can share the same spot because they are relatively new. They're decks I'm saying watch out for, because if a ban list hits, I'd be very, very surprised if either of these two take a knock. So they will start toppling the next 3 decks I'm bringing you. So third on the list is Trickstars. Now, without a ban list coming out, that does mean the Trickstar Reincarnation and John Lockberg combo is still a thing. Yes, we have something to kind of battle that in Red Reboot and, of course, Ash Blossom. But for now, Trickstars can still be incredibly powerful. They can burn you and win the game before you've even started your turn. Well, you start your turn, they burn you out before you even kind of get to make any sort of play. They did get new support, whether that new support is used and abused as much as it's expected to. But of course, with the Nightmares as well, the Scapegoat kind of ability also helps kick in and provide them with a bit more board extension. So it's very, very interesting to see where these go with the new meta. Now, when Brandish come out, and if a ban list changes, I can see Trickstars falling down the list, Altergeist Goukis going up, Brandish taking the 1st spot and moving everything else down. Next up, we have True Dracos. Now, True Dracos are incredibly powerful still. They can out Altergeist, they can out the other decks if they open up correctly. They have a huge amount of draw power. The introduction of Amanawato into the deck can also cause them massive issues. They can play stuff like Denko, like the Time Lord Zephyr, to kind of deal in the mirror match and, of course, deal with other back row heavy decks. So they don't really need to worry about that. The fact that Masterpiece is still around at 3, and even after a slight hit of Dynamite Knight and the trap card of True King's Return, they are still incredibly powerful and useful in this meta, and they can cause huge amounts of issues for all the other decks, which is why there's only one deck that I feel in this meta, until stuff like Brandish or anything else comes out, can actually topple them and have a bit more consistency, and of course that is Pendulum Magicians. Now, whether you're playing the FTK version or whether you're playing just the normal builder board version, they can both end incredibly strong. Obviously FTK ends the game before your opponent can even do anything, and then it comes down to the side deck of whether your opponent sees their side deck or not. Secondly to that, of course, if you play the normal version, they still have the ability to go into Vortex and Naruto, and they've got more negates on board. Yes, a normal summon of Amanawato and a Regeki will clear the board, but you're looking for your deck to get a 1 of 3 and a 1 of 1 out of your deck to clear that board and move forward, which is why the consistency of the Pendulum Magicians is so much more higher than the rest of these decks. Now, the one thing Altergeist have on the rest of these is that they can actually main anti-spell frames and not worry about it, and anti-spell would actually stop all 4 of the other decks. Obviously, anti-spell shuts out Pendulum Magicians until they have the ability to get rid of it. It shuts down the Masterpiece or the Draco deck unless they have the ability to tribute summon and then pop it, and that's if your opponent hasn't already got Cosmic Cyclones or anything like that to stop that happening. The exact same with Goukis, it makes them set their rematch and you can clear those off or bounce them back to hand and loop them around. And the same with Trickstar Trickstar Light Stage and any other spells like Scapegoat that they want to play. It shuts them down for a turn. So anti-spell frames can be very, very powerful, which is why it's a little bit higher. But regardless, Pendulum Magician's consistency, the fact they've got a built-in out to most floodgates for themselves, they've got both first turn and second turn plays. They have access to some of the most powerful cards in the extra deck imaginable. It's very, very useful. So these are my personal top 5 metas between now and Brandish coming out. Of course, depending on the results at local events, at bigger events, you would probably see Goukis hit the list and Brandish come straight in there, or maybe Altergeist, depending on what happens. A lot of this is then down to any ban lists or any changes that might occur between now and then. But for now, this is my kind of top 5 meta game breakdown. If there's anything that I've missed off this board, of course there are other stuff like Invoked Mech Knights, you've got other stuff like ABC Mech Knights, ABC Invoked. They're all incredibly powerful. You've got Spiral Nightmares coming back. My issue with those at this moment in time is they haven't got the consistency that the rest have, and I feel that the reason that Goukis and Altergeist are in here is mainly on their most recent results and the fact that they've got a bit more depth in the deck than the rest do. Now, that's not a shun to the other decks. I'm just saying that Altergeist have a lot. Like I said, they've got the bounce, they can play floodgates, they've got the recycle, they've got the searches, they've got everything. Goukis have the ability to get a huge board on with just 2 cards at the minimum, and then of course you have other extensions that they can make, and the Nightmares has really taken them to the next level. So let me know what you think your metagame breakdown is, what 5 decks you would put in your top 5 meta decks for the upcoming format until Brandish comes out, and then we'll see what we've got from there. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always guys, happy dueling. Also YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always guys, happy dueling.